This next 10 years, in my opinion, is going to be the decade of transformation. We'll probably see more happen from 2025 to 2035 than the last 100 years. It's a bold statement and it's been backed by a lot of futurists and techno optimists. So I suggest we disrupt ourselves before others can disrupt us.
What if you could reclaim hours of free time each week, create legacy building wealth, and devote more energy to your passion projects without giving up on your career as a life-saving MD? Dr. Vikram Raya is a functional cardiologist, high-performance coach, and real estate expert, is here to give you the tools, strategies, and solutions you need to transform your life, unlock your limitless potential, and achieve greatness, all while freeing up your precious time. Welcome to Limitless MD. Let's dive in.
Hey folks, welcome back. It's Vikram Raya, and today we're going to talk about the 10 metatrends that are going to reshape your life. And this is really a little bit of future forecasting. This is really about where technology, innovation, AI, robotics, healthcare are going to be meeting in the next 10 years. This next 10 years, in my opinion, is going to be the decade of transformation. We'll probably see more happen from 2025 to 2035 than the last 100 years. It's a bold statement, and it's been backed by a lot of futurists and techno optimists. One of those guys is Peter Diamandis, who I'm a big fan of. And I read his latest briefing, which is talking about the 10 metatrends that are going on right now. And so I thought I'd share with you the top 10 here and maybe show some case studies of what that could look like. And the reason for this is, you know, if we are not aware of what the future holds and what's going on in our own lives, in our own professions, then we're at risk for being disrupted. So I suggest we disrupt ourselves before others can disrupt us. And so let's say that in the near future, you know, food grows in deserts, energy is free, your doctor visits before you even get sick, robots handle all the chores you don't want to do, illnesses end before they start, and your AI assistant is your strategist, therapist, lawyer, and researcher, right? That's potentially the future, right? So let's get into it. I want to talk about metatrend number 1, the abundance of food, energy, and education. So here's a story. So picture a girl who never knew scarcity. There's a 12-year-old girl named Amina. She lives in rural Kenya, and her village used to rely on trucks bringing sacks of rice every 6 weeks. But in 2035, she walks through a food forest grown on land that was once barren. Solar-powered aquaponic system feeds her community. Her family's water comes from atmospheric water harvesters pulling moisture straight from the sky. Before breakfast, her AI tutor pings her, "Hey, Amina, it's time for your quantum physics class." She puts on a simple XR glass and is suddenly standing inside an atom. Her teacher is a compassion AGI, which stands for Artificial Generalized Intelligence, powered avatar, who knows her emotions and learning pace better than anyone else ever would. And this is her life in abundance by design. So think about it, man. Food is taken care of, water, education, right? All of it is sort of laid out there. And so people don't have to then struggle or fight for these things, right? There's so much abundance in the world out there. The next meta trend is really using AI and quantum, where intelligence becomes utility, right? This is the story is called The Researcher Who Delegated Discovery. So imagine it's 6:12 a.m. in Rio, and Anna, a young scientist, wakes up to chaos, not in her home, but in her neuroband notifications, right? While she slept, her swarm of AI agents solved a protein folding puzzle, validated it through quantum simulations, filed a patent, drafted a regulatory brief for her government, sent it for publication. Her reaction, she laughs because this is normal. She pours her coffee and says, "Show me the summary." And her AI, Davos, explains her own discovery to her, something she technically never touched. She didn't outsource tasks, she outsourced intelligence, right? So scientists can have these swarm of AI agents that are solving medical problems, genetic problems, like chemistry problems, right? And not only can it, like each AI agent, there could be just a super AI agent that can do everything, or it could be different AI agents doing different things. And so this is probably not too far away, right? Like I know in drug discovery, so many AI simulations are starting to occur that's bringing the cost of drug development way down. And so they say the company of the future will probably be one person, maybe two, and a couple of AI agents, right? That can really do all the work. So it's really, how do you harness this power of AI and quantum, right? The next meta trend, number 3, is the robot revolution, right? It's talking about the grandpa's new best friend. So in Houston, 82-year-old Mr. Ramirez lives alone. His kids begged him to move into assisted living, but he refused. So instead, they brought him a humanoid care robot. This robot cooks his meals, gives him medication reminders, lifts him safely, senses when he's sad or in pain, tells him jokes in Spanish, calls his daughter instantly if something's wrong. One afternoon, Mr. Ramirez tells his daughter, Mejia, the robot is the best roommate I've ever had. And the daughter cries, not because she fears robots, but because her father is finally safe, loved, and independent. So I know many of you have older parents, and I do too. And so this is something that's probably going to happen in the next 3 to 5 years. I already know that in Japan, there's a lot of robots that are used for senior care already. So this is something that's very, very important. There's a shortage of caretakers out there, and having a 24/7 person that can, or a robot that can really take care of all the needs and show empathy and human compassion. I mean, it's just going to be amazing. So, we all talk about social connection, but it doesn't necessarily have to be human connection, perhaps, Meta trend number 4 is biology becoming programmable, right? And the story here is the year my arthritis went away. So a 70-year-old woman named Linda has arthritis so bad she can barely open jars. Her doctor creates a digital twin of her, a virtual model of her biology. And in this digital twin, which lives in the clouds, an AI simulates 10 million possible treatments in seconds. And it finds the perfect cellular reprogramming therapy for her. She gets non-invasive treatment. A year later, she's hiking again at 70. Her arthritis has gone away. She feels phenomenal. There's no inflammation in her body. And it's because aging didn't just slow down, it reversed, right? So the longevity escape velocity is 2030. So by 2030, they predict that a lot of the medical conditions that we've been dealing with, we're going to have solutions for. So if you can stay healthy for the next 5 years, I think most of us are going to live beyond 120. Meta trend number 5, the demonetization of everything. So here's the story here. The startup kid who never needed investors. So meet Devin. He's 16. He lives in Atlanta. He wants to start a sneaker customization brand. So in 1995, he'd need seed capital, a designer, marketing agency, manufacturing partners, coders, a loan, a prayer, right? A couple of rounds of seed funding. But in 2030, he uses his AI to design 100 brand concepts, his personal factory robot to create prototypes, an AI marketing swarm to launch TikTok campaigns, a micro factory subscription to manufacture 1,000 units the next day, a blockchain wallet to sell globally. His entire company costs less than $20 a month. And so this is when Peter Diamandis says, the joke is this is when expensive becomes free, right? What used to take millions of dollars now takes $20 a month, right? You've essentially demonetized entrepreneurship to where anyone can start a company, a micro company, and be profitable in a very short amount of time. Meta trend number 6 is involving transportation. So autonomous transport, robo-taxis, flying cars, and drones. So here's a story that it's called The Commute That Disappeared. So there's a doctor, Dr. Leonard. He used to lose an hour in traffic every morning. But in 2030, he hops onto an autonomous robo-taxi pod at 7:40 a.m. It glides into an elevated smart lane. He meditates, he reviews charts, he records videos for his team. He gets to his clinic at 8 a.m. sharp. Not a second of driving required. And sometimes he takes an electrical air taxi, which gets him across the city in 5 minutes for the cost of an Uber today, right? Transportation no longer steals your time. It gives your time back, right? Imagine if all that time in the car is now productive time, or just relaxation time, or sleeping time, or watching a movie, or whatever that is that gives you joy or productivity. So this is happening, guys. We already know that Waymo is robo-taxis. I've seen them on the road. I've taken them in Phoenix and in other cities. Tesla has a cyber taxi as well that they've launched, and there's other companies along the way. And then there's these eVTOLs, which are electrical vertical takeoff and landing vehicles, and those are not only very cost effective and very efficient, but they can also be autonomous as well. So that is what's happening. And also package delivery can happen with drones, instead of just physical vehicles or teams delivering. So all of this is in the works, guys. Metatrend number 7, the manufacturing goes local and automated. So here, the story here is the car part that never left the town. So a small auto shop in Ohio used to wait 10 days for replacement gear. Now they download the CAD file, the shop's robotic microfactory scans the broken part and prints a perfect replacement made of stronger new age materials, total time 19 minutes. And so this is where global supply chains become local, personal, and instantaneous, right? So all the stuff that happened during the COVID where, supply chains were disrupted, costs went through the roof, inflation went crazy, doesn't have to happen because every, town, city, company may have like a micro factory and it's just 3D printing, right? Everything. And then as they keep coming with new materials, the quality of the parts keeps going up as well. So metatrend number 8 is finance becomes digital, instant, and borderless. The Filipino nurse who became a global investor is a story here. So Maria, a nurse in Manila, earns a modest income, but now she has a digital wallet, fractional real estate access, AI to analyze global markets, and instant borderless transactions with near zero fees. So if she invests $5 at a time, then 50, then 500, her portfolio grows faster than her income ever did. And this is really where, there's wealth without Wall Street. You don't need to be a financier to become very successful, right? Already crypto is becoming widely adopted. Blockchain is becoming widely adopted. There's tokenization now of businesses and real estate. There's algorithmic trading going on. So an AI agent can trade on your behalf and follow a certain investment thesis and be very successful. And, as banking becomes democratized and demonetized and really disseminated across the world, a lot of the expensive wire fees and transaction fees, all of that goes away, right? So this allows everyone now to be part of the global economy and invest. Okay, metatrend number 9 is the metaverse, or the virtual reality world, or the XR world. So the story here is learning history while standing in it. So a student named Jalen hates school, but when his class starts using this, the metaverse or the virtual reality verse, physics lessons happen inside Einstein's mind. History class let him walk through the streets of 1800s in New York. In literature class, he stands inside a Shakespeare play. So instead of he's learning from a book, he's learning from immersion, right? And school comes from resistance to becoming addictive, right? When you get to relive history, how much more can you really retain it and learn it with that level of depth? So that is what future of school could look like, and learning. And like, if you want to train medical doctors in really advanced procedures, perhaps they, again, practice on using robotic arms in a virtual simulation, right? So many things can happen virtually, and we can train and get the expertise before actually doing it in real life. And the last one is metatrend number 10, becoming a spacefaring civilization. Here, the last story here is the woman who watched the Earth rise from her apartment. So imagine Sarah is a software engineer in Austin. She finishes her work by 8 p.m. She pours tea, sits on her couch, puts on her spatial XR lenses. She opens up an app called Earthrise, and suddenly she's standing on the moon, watching Earth float above the horizon in real time through her high-definition lunar cameras. And really, this is about humans beyond going just Earth, but now we're on the moon, we're in Mars, we're in other planets, right? And it is very, very, very possible that this can happen in the next 10 to 15 years. We're going to be on both Mars and the moon. And the question really is, what are the trending technologies that can lead up to all these innovations? And so I've listed 10 of them here. And now the question is, how are you going to define your role in this next greatest decade ever, right? These stories may seem fantastical, but they're not that far off. And they're really exploring a lot of the technologies that are already there. And a lot of these technologies are accelerating, but the interesting thing is also converging. So there's synergies, and they're starting to work together, right? AI can work with virtual reality, can work with automated transportation, et cetera. So the question is not whether these changes will happen, it's whether you will be positioned to benefit from them, right? This is why, I want to encourage the future for physicians, and that's why we have our company Limitless MD. This is why we coach. This is why I invest in some of these kind of companies. I want to help us as entrepreneurs and physicians break free of the way things are and start anticipating where things are going. I think there's going to be tremendous number of new billionaires, new industries, new health frontiers, new ways of living, new ways of being even human. People are even saying there's a new human species evolving where we're going to have like a BCI, a brain chip interface, and we're going to have AI capabilities built into our bodies, with wearables and other things. So where, there's Homo sapiens, but maybe perhaps, there's Homo futurists or something, the new version of humans. That's perhaps where we're moving toward. So with that said, guys, wishing you tremendous success in 2026 as we're recording this at the end of 2025. Guys, thanks so much for listening in. I hope this podcast made you think. And until next time, guys, be phenomenal.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Limitless MD. If you found value from this episode, I encourage you to share this episode with a friend and let me know by leaving a review. For more information, make sure you check out the links in the show notes below or simply visit vikramraya.com. Until next time, be phenomenal.